Hello, everybody. Welcome to the second ever episode of the Music, Money, and Life podcast. This podcast is brought to you by howtolicenseyourmusic.com. If you are a singer, songwriter, if you play in a band, and you're interested in learning how to license your music in television shows, films, video games, advertisements, ringtones, and more, check out my website, howtolicenseyourmusic.com. So today I have a singer-songwriter from Nashville, Tennessee with me. I have Nate Davenport on the phone today. Nate, how are you?
Hey, Aaron, great to be talking with you, man.
Yeah, great to have you on the phone with me today, Nate. So Nate, like I said, is a singer-songwriter from Nashville, and you're originally from Texas, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I grew up in San Antonio.
San Antonio, and you moved out to Nashville last May?
That's right. Yeah, I've been here for almost a year.
Going on a year now. So Nate and I are going to talk about the music business. We're going to talk about Nashville. We're going to talk about what Nate has been up to. So I'm curious, how has living in Nashville been? What's that like?
It's lovely. I kind of fell in love with this town on a tour out here. I guess it's been a couple of years ago, and then just decided that I would kind of make my way here as soon as possible. It's interesting because it's well known for country music, but there's really a lot more going on, especially in like East Nashville is kind of the developing hipster area of town, if you will. You can't see my air quotes, but I'm making them. So it's got a lot of like very cool independent music and pop music and CCM and a wide variety of stuff going on.
Nice. So how, obviously Nashville is a super competitive city in terms of, I think I read the other day, there's something like 40,000 musicians that go there, that move there every year. What has it been like getting involved in the music scene in Nashville? Has it been hard to get gigs? Has it been easy? How's the transition gone for you?
It's actually, it hasn't been that hard. The main transition that I made coming from San Antonio to here was I knew that, and I prepared myself to not really get paid for a lot of the shows that I did at first, because in San Antonio I had a following and I knew all the booking people and I did private shows, and so I knew I was basically resetting everything and going into a city where people don't pay a whole lot for you to come play. So yeah. With that expectation, it's been fine. And the nice thing about Nashville is it's kind of a transient city, as you said. So many people move here that everyone kind of remembers when they first got off the boat, and so everyone seems really helpful to people that just show up. Okay, nice, very very cool. So, Nate, how long have you been writing and playing music? I think I guess my first song I wrote about 13 years ago, and then picked up a guitar and kind of learned how to play it. Basically, that was the way it went, and been slowly progressing ever since. It was we'll never play that first song for anyone ever again, but yeah, it's been a good process. I started initially playing drums, and then wrote my first song on a piano, and then moved exclusively over to the guitar. And now I'm trying to work my way back to piano. So. Okay, nice. You're coming around full circle. Exactly. What was the name of the first song you wrote? Do you remember? I think it was called "Who Are You." Who Are You? That's not a bad title. The first song I ever wrote was when I was like 12, I was in a band called Snow White, and I wrote a song called "Bite the Apple," which I'd rather forget about. But oh man. Well, Nate, listen, there's a lot of things I want to talk to you about today. I want to touch on licensing, since I run a site, geared towards teaching musicians about licensing. So I thought we could kind of touch on that to start with, but then I have a lot more questions for you. But let's talk a little bit about licensing first. What are some of the shows and places your music has been licensed to? I have placed a song on America's Next Top Model, which is on CW, and then a couple of months later, I placed a song on Heart of Dixie, which is a new show on CW. I believe it's entering its second season. The first one was little. It was a 10-second instrumental only, very brief thing. And then Heart of Dixie was 67 seconds. You actually, I meant to look up the email you sent out, because you have in one of your awesome emails, which I recommend anyone listening go subscribe to your mailing list, because it's freaking amazing.
Thank you.
It wasn't a featured up. It was like a background vocal or something like that.
Okay.
So it was under the scene, but it was at least the vocals were still in it, so that was nice.
Nice. And I'm sorry, what show was that on?
That was on Heart of Dixie.
Okay, cool. And how did you secure those placements? Okay,
so there is a publisher who placed them for me called Could Be Entertainment that I have a partnership with, and I originally kind of connected with him because of my original publisher, who I'm still in partnership with, Granville Records.
Okay.
And got all that through a Sonic Bids deal. It was so random.
Nice. Well, that's good to hear that it worked out for you.
Yeah.
Because I get a lot of questions about services like Sonic Bids and Taxi and Broadjam, and they obviously seem to work for a percentage of people. So that's good that connection panned out. Cool. So you've had a couple placements. You're living in Nashville. What are you? Do you make money? Are you doing music full time, or do you?
No, I still have a day job.
Okay. Where do you work? What's your day job?
I work as what's called a family room specialist at Apple retail store in Green Hills Mall in Nashville.
Okay. Nice.
So I fix phones and I train people how to do stuff.
Excellent. Well, listen, the reason I wanted to bring you on, Nate, was you reached out to me after I reached out asking for people who were interested to be on the podcast. But the reason I wanted to have you on mainly is because I really like your music. I checked out your site, and it's really well done, really well produced, really well written songs. But I'm kind of curious to know what's your game plan for the next couple of years. So you're in Nashville, you're doing gigs. What's your strategy? Where do you see yourself headed in the next couple of years?
Next couple of years will put me at a place where I am putting out my next project. It'll be an EP of some kind. Nashville is one of the greatest music cities because, and I learned this just before I came here, I believe it's 250 of the 300 million people in the United States live within 12 hours driving of Nashville, which is why it's so easy to tour when you're here, because you can go 12 hours this way and you're not driving, all the way across the country to California.
Yeah, it's really centrally located, yeah.
Yeah. So that's part of what I'm hoping to integrate, little weekend tours with people, that have to keep day jobs just like I do. And that way we can hit Atlanta, we can hit Chattanooga, we can hit Chicago, all these places on these little short tours that will kind of maximize the efficiency and not have to worry about like dying in a van on the road for 3 weeks, So that's kind of the touring plan. EP, I've already found the producer that I'm going to use. And also licensing. That's one of the big things that I'm hitting on. So as I'm writing full production tunes that I'm going to record, I'm also going to be producing my own stuff because I have my publisher is constantly putting out calls for, hey, I need a song that's kind of like this and sound alikes and that kind of thing. So working on setting up my own home studio so that I can crank those out.
Nice. So, well, that's interesting. So how does that work with your publisher? Because I get a lot of, that's sort of the relationship I've had with my publisher, or I had, I should say. She retired a couple years ago, and now there's a different person who's taken over the publishing company. It works a little differently, but the way it worked for many years is she would reach out to me and let me know about very specific projects that she had. So how were you able to sort of cultivate that, or how are you able to continue to nurture that relationship?
after a couple of placements, it got a little bit more friendly between us because we were like, oh, we can both help each other out quite a bit. And we started out just through that partnership through my original publisher, Granville. And so just a phone call and a couple of emails, and we had a contract that I signed. And he works with a lot of cable shows, and he'll he does specify, like, if he knows that I'm kind of an acoustic pop alternative artist, then he'll only send me emails pertaining to that, and I'm sure he's got his list divided up into what kind of music he needs. But yeah, he'll say, oh, have a thing for CBS, we need this, and he put out a call for Christmas music a little bit ago, and that led to me actually producing a version of Silent Night that I put out.
Okay, nice. No, that's good. That's good to hear, because I think whenever you're able to have that sort of an interaction and communication with your publisher or agent or whoever is helping you get placements, it's really important and a lot more. Yeah. It's a lot cooler than just like having your music sit in the catalog and that you never really hear about.
Yeah.
Nice. The other thing I wanted to ask you about, Nate, was I saw on your website that you're doing or have done like a series of house concerts, which I think is a really,
yes.
I know a few singer-songwriters who go this route, or maybe not strictly do house concerts, but like I have a friend who tours quite a bit, and makes a living touring, and he'll do house concerts. Like he'll do a couple like traditional gigs, and then he'll fill that in with a house concert. Can you talk about what that's like?
Yeah. Through YouTube and a couple of other things that I do, I've been able to build a bit of a fan base over the country, and I'm outside the country too, but not really driving there. And so, yeah, when I do tours that I have traditional gigs booked on, I will definitely supplement them with house concerts, because normally, depending on what your draw is like in various cities, you won't expect a whole lot of money from a traditional gig, unless you have been doing it a while and have a consistent draw. Then you're not going to get a guarantee or anything like that. So, but with your fans, you definitely are going to get a guarantee because you control everything. So the beautiful thing about house concerts is it's normally a very relaxed setting. It's normally a lot of fun, and you are guaranteed to have people, because your fan is paying you to be there, and they're going to do their own promotion because they want their friends to come see this awesome experience that they have. So you're essentially having a promoter that is paying you to come do a show. So it's always a blast. And sometimes they'll let you like crash on their couch, and they're depending on how hospital they are, you always have a good experience.
Nice. And then how does it work in terms of payment? Are you guaranteed a specific amount, or is it based on how many people show up? How does that work?
It's really however you want. It's kind of nice to do it on a like however many people show up, and then they, some of them even choose to turn it into a profitable experience, because they will say, hey guys, I'm having this once in a lifetime experience in my house with this awesome singer. Pay me $15 and you're in. And if I charge them $150 and 30, 40 people show up, then he makes some money. So
yeah,
that can be a really cool deal.
Capitalism at its best.
Exactly.
No, I love the idea. I think it's an awesome idea. What an intimate, doesn't get much more intimate than in the privacy of someone's home.
Yeah.
Nice. So you're still working full time. You're how often do you gig, Nate?
I try to play writers rounds or shows or whatever I can at least once a week, if I can manage that. Okay, nice. I actually have one tonight.
Nice. And so you've been at this, how old are you, Nate, if you don't mind me asking?
No, not at all. I'm 28.
28, okay. So you've been at this about 10 years or so, you said?
Yeah.
So do you feel yourself making progress? You're getting placements. You're doing tours. It sounds like regionally. Do you feel like you're moving forward?
Yeah, I tell anybody who asks me how music is going, because I get that question a lot from people that haven't talked to me in a while. It's a slow train, and you have to stay on it, and you have to just keep it in motion. And if you love it enough to stay with it like that, then things happen. So I do definitely feel progress.
Yeah, no, I only ask because obviously I work with a lot of musicians and I'm a
Mm.
musician and
Yeah.
I know that it can be a real struggle.
Oh yeah.
Um, but it seems like what are your long-term goals? Are you hoping to kind of quote unquote make it and hit the big time? Are you hoping to turn this into just a livable situation financially? What's your ultimate goal?
Um, I would love to be super big time.
Yeah.
That I'm not gonna like sugarcoat it.
Well,
I
no, you
think I
shouldn't.
think anybody that plays, not anybody, but most people that play have that kind of desire. But honestly, I love music. I want to do music only as my living. That would be a lovely first step. I think that's very attainable. With music the way it is now, everybody's scared because it's not like this. Oh, you got signed and you got a deal and you got famous, but it is a lot more accessible to a lot more people. So if you can interact with those people and create a unique experience, then you can monetize that. And I mean, look at Amanda Palmer is kind of like the poster child for that.
Yeah.
Um, and she's doing it on a very large scale, but what she's doing is possible with anyone.
Sure. And are you doing a lot of like social media and YouTube and stuff like that?
Yeah, well, funny you should mention it because I just recently I moved to Nashville and then I moved in Nashville again to a new place.
Hmm.
And now that I'm here, I'm getting my studio set up at home, which I will also be using to restart my program called YouTube's Days that I used to do every week on Tuesday, and so that'll be cranking up again. That was honestly that's how I got like the publishing deal. Well, Sonic Vids and YouTube. The publishing deal. A couple of labels have reached out to me through because of YouTube. That's been one of the biggest things for me.
Nice. I just read an article the other day. I don't know if you saw this, but this was pretty inspiring. I read an article and the name of the artist escapes me, but it's a British artist who made it to number 4 on the UK iTunes without a record label, without a manager, without a publisher, just solely based on generating fans through YouTube. So
It's
it's
amazing.
pretty awesome, the possibilities.
Yeah, it's such a powerful tool. Like you say, and that's what's so exciting is like you don't need that. And most likely now that he's done that, some some label is going to sink their teeth into him, and but hopefully he has the right people around him where he can create a deal that's good for himself. Because if you can do that, then you have leverage.
Yeah, I think the article said that he sold over 300,000 downloads on iTunes, which is pretty freaking amazing
That's
as an independent
incredible.
artist. But let's get back to what you're up to. The other thing I wanted to ask you about was your Stage It concert that I saw on your
Yes.
website you have coming up. Have you done those before?
Yeah, I did one of those last month. I've been doing them with other artists here in town. They kind of host their own, and I guest on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Stage It is an interesting concept that I'm just kind of getting into. Essentially, people will pay at like a ticket price. These shows that I'm doing have cost $5 each, and Stage It has it in the form of what's it called, like tickets or something like that, credits. And so you buy a certain amount of credits, and then you get to see the show. And generally, it's like about half an hour to an hour long, and people can comment, request songs through the chat, and as long as the recording mic situation is good, then people will get a good experience out of it.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that concept. I've known about their site for a while,
Hmm.
and I want to check that out. When is your stage at concert?
My stage it is on May 28th.
Uh-huh.
I believe. Let me check. I believe it's at 8 p.m. if I'm not mistaken. No, I scratched that. Scratched that. May 9th at 7 p.m. There we go.
May 9th at 7 p.m. And so if people want to check that out, what website do they go to? How do they?
Easiest way, I have all the information on natedavenport.com. I'm also posting about it on my facebook.com/Nate Davenport Music.
Okay.
And all the little places, but I use my website as kind of the hub for everything.
Cool.
Make sure to keep that updated.
Are you hearing any of that static noise? By the way, like anybody who's listening to this, if you're hearing like weird background noise, I apologize. I'm not sure if it's going to show up on the recording or not. Do you hear that, Nate?
No, I don't.
Yeah, maybe it's just on my end. I'm not sure. It comes and goes.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's awesome, Nate. It sounds like you're doing. You're involved in a lot of different things. You're doing stage it, house concerts. You're doing licensing. What about in terms of actual CD and or download sales? Are you selling much music?
You know what? I'm trying to remember what iTunes is looking like. I wouldn't say that's a very significant source of income for me. It depends on what happens. Like when the placement came out, you see a little bump there.
Yeah.
And when I'm able to tour and promote, do something like that, then it bumps up a lot. Honestly, it's gone down since I stopped doing YouTube, which was like way too long ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Because that is like, and it's honestly, it's just covers, but it's a way of people finding out about you that had no idea, because they'll just be watching the music video and then your video pops up, or some other covers of that song, and then there you are.
Yeah. No, doing covers seems like a good way to go, because if people, it's like if people don't know about you, they don't know to search for you, right?
Yep.
But if they're searching for a cover song, there's your version alongside all the other ones. They click on your video, and then obviously on your channel, you're going to have your own tunes. It seems like a good sort of, backdoor to bring people in.
And then pepper an original song in there, and make sure that you tell them that's what it is, and then they'll be like, "Oh, cool! I love this guy. Let me see what he wrote."
Exactly. Cool. Well, listen, Nate, I'm going to. I've got another guest lined up here.
Yes.
So I need to let's keep this one kind of short. I don't really have a particular plan in terms of a specific length for these podcasts. I'm just going to kind of go with each guest until it seems like a nice place to stop. But what I thought we would do, Nate, is play one of your songs.
Excellent.
And kind of in the podcast with one of your tunes, which.
Thank you so much for having me on. It's been a pleasure.
No problem at all. The whole idea with this podcast, I mentioned this in the first episode, but basically the idea is just to sort of provide a forum for songwriters like you, Nate, and publishers, and just have conversations about just candid, open conversations about the music business. And if anybody else is out there listening and you think you would make a good guest, or if you know someone else who would make a good guest, I don't really care where you're at with your music career. I mean, obviously, I'm looking for people who are doing something, licensing, tours. You don't have to be a household name, though, is my point. I'm looking for people that are still indie artists, because I think most of the people that are on my list at howtolicenseyourmusic.com are indie artists, and they're looking for ways to sort of move their career forward. So I want to have conversations about how artists can do that. So, Nate, thank you for talking with me today.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much.
And like I said, let's play one of your tunes. I was thinking Come Around, or is there another song you would like to play?
I think Come Around's the one. Okay,
so we're going to go out with Come Around. Nate Davenport. If you want to learn more about Nate, go to, it's Nate Davenport, DAVENPORT.com, right?
Yeah, you got it.
Excellent, Nate. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Let's go out with Come Around.
Thanks, Aaron.
Letting go, so hard to do. desired, but you're all that